Hello everybody, Hithrail here. Today I'm going to run through another one of the minor factions, the Vakken. This video is going to be a little bit different. I've spent last night working on some mods, doing some adjustments to the units, so I'm going to run through the base units in the beta 1.41, run through their stats, kind of through their equipment and their looks. Then I will pause and we'll come back with what I've changed things after modding them, kind of the themes, things like that, to try to make some of these units a little bit more distinct. So with that, the Vakken are also known as the Forest People. Kind of the genesis behind them seems to be kind of the Finno-Ugric peoples from around Finland, and that's where we'll step in. So the Recruit Forester, level 11, and has basically average stats for a tier 2 unit. Athletics 40, Riding 20, One-handed 40, Two-handed 15, Polearm 20, Bow 20, Crossbow 5, and Throwing 15. We can see here that they've got kind of some stitched leathers, rawhide cap, got a little bow there, and has the Battanian capelet shawl type thing. Moving on to the Expert Forester, one of the interesting things is, looking at the files, their helmet is even worse than the Recruit. But you can see that they've got a little bit of upgraded armor here, kind of that marbled woven leather. And the Expert Forester, level 16, has Athletics 100, making them very fast for their class. Typically a unit at level 16, tier 3, will have an athletics of around 70. Riding of 60, guess if they ever find a horse, they can ride away on it. An excellent one-handed skill of 110. 45 two-handed, 45 polearm, 15 bow, 90 crossbow, and throwing 60. From looking at their file, I think this is just a display error. I believe their bow skill is actually correctly at 90. But I'll double check as we go into the second half of the video. Looking lastly at the Veteran Forester, they've got a longbow, they're wearing a bear on their head, and they've got nice stylish beards. Again, with the Battanian cape, now they've got kind of this leather scale type armor, rawhide arms, and the Veteran Forester has athletics of 115, match slightly faster than the Expert Forester, one-handed of 90, two-handed of 45, polearm of 45, bow of 100, crossbow of 15, throwing of 60. So not really much of a step up, especially given that this is a tier 4 level 21 unit over the Expert Forester. And so I'm going to take a quick pause here. I'll load up some of the units how they currently look, and then we will be back. Okay, and I've modded in some of the Recruit Foresters, Expert Foresters, and Veteran Foresters, so we can get a little bit of a closer look at who they are, what they've got. So we can see they've got this leather armor, pants, some boots, the roughhide helmet, they've got a bow, axe peeking out underneath here. A lot of clipping and occlusion on this model, not a fan. Hopefully they'll get it cleaned up. And then their arrow quiver on their hip. Going now to the Expert Forester, this woven leather armor, some rough arm guards, and again, got their bow, quiver, second quiver, axe hiding underneath the quiver. And so that's what the Expert Forester looks like. Lastly, the Veteran Forester, a little bit of a closer look here. Same thing, longer, nicer axe, still hidden by that quiver. And you can see that they've got a longbow. So that's how the Veteran Foresters look. I'm going to take another quick pause here, and we'll get them arranged into a battle formation. I'll ditch these other troops I'm hanging on to, and let you all take a closer look. Back in a couple moments. Okay, and we're back here. So now you can see a line of what the back can look like. I like their coloring, the units look similar. We've got some of our recruits, some of the warriors, and then some of the veterans. So on the whole, nice looking force. 60 of them arrayed here, and these bandits are not going to be a problem. So I'm going to load up with my modded version to show you what they look like. Back in a little bit. Cheers. Okay, everybody, I'm back again. So, want to run through the tweaks that my mod has made. So I've changed the names on the foresters to the Vakken Tulukas. I'm going to butcher the Finnish pronunciation. And I've noted that they're tier 2 since it's a non-English word. But again, since this is a minor faction, I view that as a little bit less critical and makes it a little bit more immersive. So I've made 3 variants. And this screen shows the primary variant, and then we'll get into these when I drop into the quick battle here. Change their bows to be more of the composite steep style. They have northern spears, range arrows. 1 variant out of 3 will have eastern javelins rather than the bows. They've kept their Vlandia bandit cape. They have various caps and hats. And then they've changed out their kind of more fur-style armor for Nordic coats or long fur coats. And then have their leather boots. We'll pop over to the skills in just a moment. Next up, the Expert Forester has been replaced with the Vakken Sutori. And in this case, they've got their spear, shield, tribal bow, a quiver of arrows. There's a variant that has javelins instead. They've got fur helmets, goggled helmets, or Spangen helms with leather. The armor is the layered leather tunic, rough fur armor, and then they have either shoulder straps, or the more javelin-based one has the upgraded leather lamellar shoulders. Then they've got their Highland gloves and their Britannia fur boots. And then lastly, the Vakken Veterani. They have spears, nomad bows, bodkin arrows, javelins on the 3rd variant, and then they have goggled helmets, decorated goggle helmets, or goggled helmets over full mail. They've got this buckled wildman's armor, decorated northern hauberk, and then again the little bit closer range javelin version has the rough fur over chain, which is a little bit heavier. Tried to go for, again, kind of this consistent look between upgrades. They have the mail shoulders, reinforced leather vambraces, and then the heavier boots. So I'm going to run through their stats now. For the minor factions, I've stripped out all the stuff that doesn't matter. Means most of them are going to have 4 or 5 stats. So the Tulukas has athletics 50, polearm 40, bow 40, throwing 45. The Sutori has athletics 80, polearm 95, bow 75, throwing 75. And the Veterani have athletics of 110, polearm of 125, bow of 120, and throwing of 120. So I'm going to make these guys ditch the previous foresters, and then move these guys into some different groups, just so that we can pull apart and have a little bit of a better look at them, and take a look at how these variants are. And let's go smash ourselves some bandits. So, get them split up into our groups. So in the front, we have our tier 2. One's with javelins, one with bows mixed in. These guys are here and ready to fight. You can see the armor variants, but keeping that same rough appearance. Next up, we have our tier 3, the Sutori. Heavier armored. We got the variety of helmets. And this was as close as I could get to kind of the history of some of the Finno-Ugric peoples, their equipment. Very kind of Scandinavian themed with a mix of kind of Russian and other trade as they went along. And then lastly, our tier 4 units, the Veterani, again with that nice heavy armor. And as we walk along, none of these variants actually ended up having their javelins. So just kind of an oddity of what we got. But this gives you a look at how the overall minor faction looks now. So I hope you've enjoyed this visit through the Vakken, as well as the modded version. Have a good day. Cheers.